Hello friends, how are you? Breaking news today. Please subscribe my channel for daily update. The Good Morning Britain presenter, Richard Madeley, opened up on a recent airing of the ITV program about his former heavy smoking habit. He confessed to viewers that there was a time he smoked 60 a day. Describing himself as grizzled and old, he told anecdotes of being exposed to secondhand smoke, discussing it with fellow presenter Kate Garraway. Richard remarked, "Speaking as a grizzled old git, I usually know what I think about stories like this, but on this one I'm really split as an ex-smoker." They were considering the implications of a potential new ban impacting smokers in outdoor venues, with pub beer gardens and children's play zones included in the topic of conversation. Detailing a personal encounter, Richard continued, "Only 3 or 4 days ago, in this lovely weather, I was having a coffee on the Pavement Cafe in North London that I like to go to, in the sunshine. The guy next to me lit up, as he was completely entitled to do, and the breeze was blowing it towards me, so I was breathing in his smoke." He shared the conundrum he faced respecting others' rights versus his own, saying, "I didn't know whether to say something or not, because I couldn't work out in my head whose right trumped whose his right to light up and have a cigarette on the pavement over a coffee or my right to have a coffee and read the paper without breathing in foul tobacco smoke," reports the Mirror. As Richard pondered the dilemma, with Kate recognizing it as an interesting health versus tolerance debate, Richard added, "Well, I was tolerant, I didn't want to make a scene. And also I didn't have any right to protest." Richard opened up to The Guardian about his earlier life as a heavy smoker, confessing, "For decades I failed to quit." He described a turning point that came after he and Judy Finnegan interviewed Nigella Lawson's late husband John Diamond, who spoke candidly about his terminal battle with smoking-induced throat and oral cancer. Following the interview, Richard revealed, "That changed when Judy Finnegan and I interviewed Nigella Lawson's late husband John Diamond, who was charting his slow death from smoking-induced throat and oral cancer. Afterwards, I flushed my BNHS down the toilet and haven't touched one since." Moreover, on the Dr. Hilary Show podcast, he attributed the heart attacks that impacted his family to smoking. He shared a poignant personal detail, "I think what gave my grandfather, uncle and father their heart attacks, and the one that killed my father, as I said, they were heavy smokers." Continuing, he reflected on his family's history with tobacco use, stating, "My dad, at one stage, was on 2 packs a day and he died at 49. Richard Madeley sparked a reaction from ITV viewers when he questioned whether it was time to move on from Prince Andrew's involvement in the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. Back at the Good Morning Britain desk with Charlotte Hawkins, 68-year-old Richard Madeley engaged in conversation with Kwasi Kwarteng and Nels Abbey. After discussing current political events, they turned their attention to Prince Andrew. The topic arose as a photo of Prince Andrew from his 2019 Newsnight interview with Emily Maitlis is being considered by the National Gallery. This led Richard to pose the question, is it time to lay off Prince Andrew? He also recounted the moment captured between Andrew and Emily after their Newsnight talk, where Andrew reportedly remarked, "Well, that went rather well, didn't it?" Richard highlighted how oblivious the Duke was to the damage he had inflicted on his own image, future, and reputation. He noted the severe criticism Prince Andrew faced after the interview, reports the Mirror. As Richard broached the subject, many morning TV viewers took to Twitter to express their discontent. "Can't believe Madeley saying, 'Is it time to lay off Prince Andrew?' Cut him a bit of slack." "No. Switched off," vented one irate viewer. Another individual said, "Richard Madeley is insufferable. We should be giving Prince Andrew a break." Another voice joined in agreement, "Lay off Prince Andrew? Really? Nah. Further input came from a fifth viewer, remarking, "Richard Madeley really is a jerk if he thinks that we should cut Prince Andrew some slack." In the latest developments, the tense relationship between Prince Andrew and King Charles III shows no signs of mending, with ongoing disagreements said to revolve around the Duke's possession of the Royal Lodge. The dishonored offspring of Queen Elizabeth II occupies the 30-room estate in Windsor, which is apparently crying out for repair. In what many might consider an odd arrangement, he shares this residence with his former spouse Sarah Ferguson, demonstrating a clear reluctance to relinquish the sumptuous property. Paddy McGuinness is thrilled to see Freddie Flintoff back on television after his Top Gear crash. The 46-year-old cricket legend stepped away from the spotlight after sustaining facial injuries and broken ribs in the accident. The incident occurred in 2022 and led to the BBC shelving the motoring show. However, the TV star has now returned to our screens for a second run of his Field of Dreams docu-series. Paddy appeared on Good Morning Britain and is delighted his close friend is back on TV. The 52-year-old comic said, "When we did a Top Gear, we're that close because you're together all the time going around the world, so you have a real bond. Seeing him do stuff like that, it's so good to see him back and better." Paddy remained about the future of the program, but is sure the situation will all get sorted one day. He said, "I sound like a politician now. I can't really get into the ins and outs of it because there's all stuff still going on with the Top Gear, and what have you, so at some point it will all get sorted." In an emotional home video recording in the aftermath of the accident and later featured in A Fields of Dreams on tour, he said, "I am struggling already and I need help. I really am. I'm not the best at asking for it. I need to stop crying every 2 minutes. I genuinely should not be here after what happened. It's going to be a long road back and I've only just started. I've got to look at the positives, I've got another chance, and I'm going to go at it. I'm seeing that as how it is, a second go."